Hi everyone. Just going to share a couple of comments following on from the video I did with Rumen yesterday. Because it is very, very technical, a lot of the material that Rumen talks about, and it is certainly not mainstream, and it's a very unfamiliar territory for a lot of people. Um, and I get it, because it's been a learning curve for myself using this program. But basically, what I want to clarify, in case anybody wasn't clear, essentially, quite apart from what everything means, just in terms of the astronomical phenomena, first, I just want to clarify that point. Now, Roman was drawing some examples in the Northern Hemisphere. He was using 50 north latitude and 53. And what we saw there was that he showed us visually on this diagram, which I've got an example here for us today again. He showed us with this diagram, because all these lines and circles and so forth, they all represent something. So this big round circle that you see my cursor following around at the moment, that's actually the horizon. Okay, so we're used to looking at the horizon as this flat line when we're working, with solar fire or other programs, but it doesn't actually look like that. This is what it looks like. So he showed us that Venus actually at certain northern latitudes will, from one moment, she'll be the evening star, and then, 12 hours later, she'll be reborn as the morning star, and she will not disappear. She will not disappear. I repeat it, she will not disappear. And this is a pretty powerful omen, omena, as Roman would say. It's an astronomical phenomena, first of all. So it's not man-made, it's just what's happening in the sky. And there's a lot of teachings around, the implications of that, which are generally supposed to lean towards Venus being, extremely, extremely powerful when she doesn't disappear. Why? We didn't touch on this very much yesterday, but simply because normally when she disappears out of the sky, which might be for a week or a month, it just depends on the time of the year, and it depends on a number of different things. Anyway, that aside, when she does disappear, she goes into the underworld. So she's not seen in the sky, and she's having this spiritual purging journey in the underworld. Another story to connect with that would be the story of Inanna that descends through the seven gates. That's what's happening when Venus disappears. And as Ruman pointed out yesterday, when a planet is visible and then it's not visible, it's died. Okay, and that's what the whole mythology and symbolism and stories that we read around characters that have descended into the underworld, in this case, Venus. So when she doesn't descend into the underworld, it's another way to understand it is that she is already purified and powerful and just ready to come back into the material world without taking that descent into the underworld. And that's what's happening on the 20th, 21st, 22nd of March. I say those dates because her actual conjunction and visibility along the horizon on the eastern point or western point, relative to her visibility, will be purely based on one's latitude. And that's another thing we were trying to point out yesterday. So Roman gave the examples of 50 North, which is around Europe, certain countries around Europe. But I just want to show you that, like this chart I've got on the screen at the moment, this is for New York. Okay, this is latitude 40 North, New York. All right. And you can see Venus here to the left. She's conjunct the sun. This is on the 21st of March. So she's already made that conjunction with the sun. And if you look, just let me grab an arrow of sorts to point to things. Okay, so there's Venus. and there's the sun, and there's the ascendant, and this circle around here, this depicts the horizon. So basically, the sun and Venus have already risen here. Okay, that's why they're above the ascendant as well. They've already risen. Okay, and Venus is actually, she's in front of the sun already, although it looks in this picture here like she's behind. Don't be fooled by that, which is what tricked my eyes yesterday as well. If you look at the beams of Venus, we can extend it out past the ecliptic over to this point here. It doesn't let me, okay, let me just get out of that. So to my left-hand side down here, there's this little box, okay? And when you put your cursor over any point in this whole chart, it gives you the degrees of whatever you're pointing to, whether it's in a constellation, whether it's a planet, whatever. It shows you the Babylonian fixed degrees, Babylonian tropical, and Ptolemaic tropical. Ptolemaic tropical is just the tropical zodiac that we all use, okay? If you're not using, sidereal, Babylonian, etc. Okay, so the Ptolemaic tropical is just the tropical zodiac that we generally use. So look at Venus over here when you hover the cursor to where she's beaming her light. She's basically at around about 9 degrees Babylonian Pisces. So all of you in New York are very close to New York. This is Venus's first appearance as a morning star. That's the degree that she's in, 9 degrees Pisces, Babylonian. And in the tropical zodiac, that's around about 4 degrees of Aries. Now, if I take this chart, if I animate and go back, what is it, 6 or 12 hours? Let me just see. So what I want to do is take us back to when Venus was still an evening star, which is just a couple of days before this. Okay. So let's just go backwards. I want to take it back a little bit further. 19th. Okay. So again, in this example, let me see. So, okay, the sun's below the horizon there. Okay, that makes perfect sense. The sun is below the horizon and Venus is above the horizon. Okay, this is her in her evening star stage still. Okay, because this is March 19th. You can see there's the picture of the sun, a little orange circle with the spikes around it. These lines that you see, sort of horizontal wavy lines, again, this is the horizon. So we can see visually that the sun's below the horizon and Venus is above the horizon. So hopefully you all understand what I'm getting at. We've just gone back a day or so, and what we're seeing is that Venus is visible on the western horizon, okay, in the evening sky in New York latitude, northern latitude. She's still visible as an evening star. And then 12 hours later, she circles around with the conjunction to the sun and she appears as the morning star. Bang, just like that, without actually disappearing. Normally, when a planet is conjunct the sun, we cannot see it. The sun's light and the sun's rays obscure it. It just so happens, however, every 8 years, Venus conjunct the sun will not go invisible in certain latitudes, whether that's in the southern or the northern hemisphere. It doesn't happen in both at the same time, from my understanding. So, and I'll show you here as well. If we go to set panel, not evening first, evening last. So this panel that I've brought up here to the left-hand side, this enables us to click certain options from the perspective of, do we want to see the last time Venus was visible? Do we want to see the last time let me just sorry, start that again. Do we want to see Venus being visible the last time as an evening star? And if we do, we just click this button here, and then it drops down 5 different dates, because Venus's appearance occurs in 5 different places, whether it's her disappearing or reappearing. It always happens at 5 different places, as you can see. That's what creates this pentagram. That's why there's numbers outside the pentagram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not the same pentagram that we might look at relative to what's otherwise termed as the Venus star points. It's a different thing altogether. This pentagram is merely depicting Venus's heliacal cycle, that is, where she appears and where she disappears. So, in the context of where we are right now, Venus is still an evening star, and by the time we get to around about the 19th of March, she's still in her evening star phase. So we can see her on the western horizon when the sun's dropped. She's still there. And then 12 hours later or so, when she's conjunct the sun and is reborn as a morning star, she appears on the eastern horizon as the morning star. She does not go through the underworld passage at all at certain northern latitudes. And there's many, 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 many northern latitudes where she does not disappear. It's not just one country or just one region. It's quite a lot of places. So it's actually valid for most people in the northern hemisphere. And that is an extremely powerful thing. Now, let me just show you. So I've shown you here that once I click evening last, what does the first date say? It says March 2025. This is the last time she's seen as an evening star. March 2025. Now I want you to look at this. I'm just going to animate the chart again, and I'll take it a couple of days forward to the 20th. Yeah, okay. So because I've kept it at the same time, she's obviously still there on the descendant, right? Or on the western side of the sky. So now what we want to do is we want to bring her up on the eastern horizon, which is over here on the left, right? We want to see her rising. So let's go. I think it's 12 hours, is it? Let's see. So 12 hours later, okay, here she is on the 21st of March. It actually happens a day before. But anyway, if we just stick to this date, there's Venus, there's the sun. Venus is actually in front of the sun because she's a morning star. So they are above the horizon. The sun and Venus are above the horizon. Remember, the horizon is this round circle, dark black round circle. Okay, yellow circle is the ecliptic. Okay, now let me see. Technically, though, we should. Yeah, I want to take it to the 20th. Just bear with me while I just adjust. So no, we need to take it to the date that I had at 21st. Okay, so now I'm going to bring up this panel again, and this time I'm going to hit morning first. Okay, morning first just simply suggests the first time we're going to see Venus as an evening star on the eastern horizon relative to these dates. Okay, So again, if you look at the first line, what does it say? It says March 2025. That was the same date that was there when we clicked evening last. If you recall, I just said that a couple of minutes ago. I said, remember this date, which is why I emphasize remember this date. So, in very simple terms, what this is showing us is that on the 20th of March, Venus is seen both as a morning and evening star in certain latitudes of northern hemisphere. She does not disappear, thus she does not go into the underworld. Thus she is almighty, powerful Pallas Athena, ready to basically do her thing on the earth plane, just to use simple language. That's I'm going to come back and talk about that separately, and bring it in connection with the Venus retrograde cycle, which we are currently in. And, Venus retrograde is a journey that goes for about 40 days, 40 nights, and that whole thing's got tremendous spiritual significance connecting to it as well. And even though Venus is not disappearing, she is retrograde, for 40 days, and that started, I think, what was it, 3rd of March. So we've kind of got these two different sort of dimensions, if you like, of Venus's experience. And both are valid, both are pointing to something very different and very specific, and they're both sort of running simultaneously. That is, that Venus will not go into the underworld, but she is retrograde. So there are two different dimensions we are tapping into or working with when we're talking about this current Venus cycle, which I'll come back and speak to possibly tomorrow. Just feeling just a little bit tired at the moment. And with Venus, that's what I was going to say. With Venus retrograde, the 40 days, 40 nights, it's such a beautiful time for our own inner spiritual work. And to me, the way that usually feels, and tell me if you relate to this, I just feel like withdrawing, you know, from everything. And I'm naturally like that most of the time anyway. So to have that felt, sort of more increasingly desirable, is just a reminder of, Venus is retrograde. But like Raman said, the fact that Venus does not disappear and is visible both as a morning and evening star, just hours apart, is a phenomena that occurs once every 8 years. And so therefore it's a phenomenal thing relative to the implications of the power of that on the earth plane. And then certainly, in our own individual life, again, just a reminder, in again, relative to the degree of her appearance, it'll vary because it's based on your latitude. So New York, if you're close to New York, it's about 9 degrees Babylonian Pisces and about 4 degrees tropical Aries. Those degrees, those numbers, they're very, very significant because if you've got any of the angles, within the range of those degrees, and as Rumen said, up to 10 degrees either side, in both the Babylonian or the tropical, so Babylonian Pisces, tropical Aries, then, Venus might appear on your ascendant or on your MC or your descendant. Those are very powerful omens regarding this Venus cycle. And it will really define the next 12 months. And if we go further, it really sort of makes a statement for the next 8 years, but certainly the first 8 months is probably more, how can I put it, the marker, of this energy. It would be the first 12 months. And also, if Venus appears close to your sun or your moon, that's considered extremely important and extremely powerful, especially in this case where Venus is not disappearing. And if you're living in, northern latitudes. But even if you're not, for example, this Venus appearance in the Babylonian zodiac is conjunct my own Venus in my natal chart. And as Roman said, that's an extremely powerful omena, or omen. Now, this is a bittersweet time for me because this cycle, when we take it back to 8 years ago, which is when this cycle started, that was when my dad left this world, which I still can't believe that basically, next month it's going to be 8 years. It feels like now still to me. That's how intense it is still. No one understands it. I don't expect anybody to. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that. I'm just merely expressing my own experience, right? So I'm just hoping that this new cycle, will be something completely opposite to the experience I had 8 years ago, because that just changed my life forever, in ways that are very difficult. It's just a fact, just how it is. But, I'm still breathing, I'm still here, and just, doing my best to get on with it, right? With my own personal challenges, just like every single one of you have your own personal challenges, whether that's professionally, personally, whatever it is. We all have them. So, in this 40-day cycle of Venus being retrograde, I'm feeling like I'm going to lay low a lot more. This I'm referring to doing YouTube videos and things like that. I just feel like I need a rest, to be honest, and it's a great time to be doing it while Venus is retrograde. On the other hand, I may have an extreme moment because Pluto's on my ascendant, and Pluto on the ascendant is extreme highs and lows, and so I might just pop back up with a live and God knows what else. Anyway, okay, guys. However, I will be coming back to just talk a little bit about the Venus retrograde cycle and just some things we can think about relative to that. I'm sure you've all thought about that yourselves anyway. There might be a few things that I suggest that might be new to you. So yeah, if you're interested in tuning into that, I should put that up in a couple of days' time. But the point to today's mini little 101 of this Babylonian chart was just to further explain, in case there was any confusion or in case people didn't quite understand, that it's not just the northern latitude of 50 or 53 that Roman was pointing to relative to Venus not disappearing. It's latitude 43 as well, which is New York. So it's most places in the northern hemisphere, as a matter of fact. Not all places, but it is most. So this is a very, 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 very powerful Venus cycle. Okay, so I'd be very interested to hear people's stories as they unfold, because this is a process that unfolds. We're not going to see it all happen on the 21st of March. That's when Venus will be reborn on the eastern horizon as a morning star. And there she goes. She just bang starts her journey straight away without disappearing. As Pallas Athena, the morning star purely corresponds to the goddess Pallas Athena. Strategy, working on things. And she's much more stable in relationships too, by the way, which is a side bonus for people in relationships, I guess, or people wanting to start a relationship. Okay, anyway, I'm out of here and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.